حي على الفلاح.
You will not be able to withstand the light which now is on a tower just above your palace. What am I talking about? You reach your palace, you've seen it. It's beautiful, it's glittering. Suddenly you see this light that is shining down, and beautiful light that covers your whole entire property. It's not the sun. It's not special light coming from above. You look up into that tower, and in that beautiful tower, there is your spouse, your wife, is waiting for you there. So our sisters who enter Jannah, are you walking to your palace, or are you actually escorted to your palace and then you are placed there to wait for your spouse who is about to come and meet you? So in other words, maybe you are there and you are clothed and given the beautiful jewelry. The makeup of Jannah is placed on you. You are prepared for your groom who is about to approach. And you're waiting to see his face and how you're going to be attractive to him. You know the nature of men and women. Women love to beautify themselves to attract their husbands first, even though the husbands also attract their wives. But in the first stage, the woman loves to beautify herself as in her nature. So imagine you've entered now, and there are servants of yours in your palace. You've beaten your husband there, and they've prepared you and put all this makeup on you. In fact, in Jannah, what is makeup? Is it fake up? No. What is the makeup in Jannah? You don't need any makeup. The makeup of Jannah is the way Allah has created your face. And now I would like to describe just a little bit of the women of Jannah. The women who enter Jannah from this world are indescribable. I cannot describe them. The hadiths and the ayat in the Qur'an have not described the women of this world who enter Jannah. But what have they described? They've described the women who are created in Jannah, the Hoor Al Ayn. As for the descriptions of the women who enter Jannah, they are beyond their beauty. Forget it. They will look like they were just insignificant, just a little pearl they wear around their neck. That's all it is really. So the Hoor in Jannah, the women of Jannah. Al-Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, the tiara, a crown or a tiara of a princess or of a queen. So the crown or a tiara that she wears on her head. Not even talking about her head. We're talking about the tiara, the crown that she wears on her head. From her beauty, خَيْرٌ مِّنَ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا عَلَيْهَا. Al-Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, it is better than the whole world and everything that's on it. In another hadith, which is also sahih, he said, if her face were to be shown to the people of the world, there will be a world war over her. There will be a world conflict over this one woman. Forget about all these beauty pageants that are elected and voted for. Forget about all the women that you've ever heard about or seen in this world. They are not even worth, wallahi, an atom's worth of span's length of a hair, of a thread of hair of the women of Jannah. Literally, I'm saying this really. When you look at it, they're nothing. In another hadith, if she spat in the ocean of this world, how salty is the ocean? If she spat in the ocean of this world, it'll turn it sweet. Now again, you might think to yourself, if it's that sweet, how can I bear the sweetness of her in Jannah? Again, your form and shape and your abilities in Jannah are super compared to here. They're nothing like here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes them in the Qur'an, Hoor Al Ayn, which is familiar to the Arabs of the deserts at that time. These words, Hoor Al Ayn, were revealed in the Meccan verses, when the people lived in Mecca, the Muslims in Mecca, before they migrated. So he's talking first to the people of the desert and the people of Mecca who understand what Hoor Al Ayn means. Hoor Al Ayn, lustrous eyes, lustrous big eyes, beautiful lustrous big eyes. In another hadith, it talks about black eyes, pitch black. The iris is pitch black. Now, does this mean that all the women of Jannah have pitch black eyes? No. But talking to the people of Mecca, in the Meccan verses, It's giving an example of what they would desire. So in other words, if the Qur'an mentions a particular description of colors of the men or women in Jannah, it is giving only an example of what certain people can desire. So if he's talking to the people of Mecca, they desired lustrous big eyes, dark pitch black irises in a woman. So Allah says, for you, you will have that. In other words, if this is what you desire, you're going to get it. If you desire blue eyes, you're going to get it. If you desire green eyes, you're going to get green eyes. If you desire different colored eyes, you'll get them. Allah says in the Qur'an, وَلَهُمْ مَا تَشْتَهِي أَنفُسُهُمْ وَتَلَذُّ أَعْيُنُهُم. That explains it all. They will have in Jannah everything that their nafs, your temptations, your lusts, your desires inside of you tempt for. Anything the nafs desires for, you can have it. And whatever their eyes want to taste. You know, the eye can taste, yeah? Not like the taste of the tongue. The taste of the eyes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whatever the eye wants to taste, meaning to look at, they will have it in Jannah. So if your eyes love to taste green eyes, this is what you will have of the best. Loves to taste the look of black pitch eyes, then this is what you will get. So whatever you wish and desire, it is there for you in Jannah. But the most beautiful thing of the women of Jannah is their nur, the light that emanates from them. And they have been clothed with clothing from Jannah, harir, silk of the most finest that you could ever imagine. And their shapes and forms are, you'll read the Qur'an and the Hadith, you will see it. I can't talk about it here because we have young men here who are not married yet. And we have our sisters here, we don't want to offend them. And we have children here who won't understand what we say, even if we say it. Read about them whatever you want. I narrated the ayah. You'll have anything your nafs desires and whatever your eye wants to taste, that explains it all. So in other words, whatever your feelings want, whatever your eyes want, whatever your anything, it is there. So you see your wife in Jannah. Now there is a question. Is it your wife that is in this world? You will see her again in the hereafter. Or is it another wife? Or is it women that Allah has created? Is it the same man that you will get? The answer, my dear brothers and sisters, some of it will shock you. Asma radiallahu anha married Zubayr radiallahu anhu. And she complained to her father Abu Bakr about Zubayr radiallahu anhuma ajma'in, about Zubayr's strictness. Zubayr radiallahu anhu, he's one of the 10 promised paradise. And Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said to her, "O my daughter, please be patient, because a woman, if she has a righteous husband, and then he dies, and she does not marry after him, Allah will bring them together in Jannah." Here is a woman who is complaining about her husband. In other words, if it's a woman today, they'll say, "Oh my God, I'm complaining about him here and I'm going to be with him for eternity in the hereafter. I'm never going to get married ever. Or I can't wait till he dies so I can marry someone else." It's not like that. Remember, brothers and sisters, you have to try and understand. When Allah, His Messenger, speak to us about Jannah and the things in Jannah, you cannot think in the mind of this world. In fact, you cannot understand it. What is the reason why a wife or a husband dislike their wife or husband in this world, their spouse? Isn't it because of treatment? Isn't it because of their experience with them? I mean, when you first met them, you love them. And then afterwards, you get used to that love. Well, in Jannah, there's nothing that exists like that. All the mistreatments are gone. All the ugliness is gone. All the bad smells are gone. All the ugly desires of a person is gone. There is none of that. Allah says in the Qur'an, you will never hear in there hurtful words. You will not hear in there offensive words, degrading words, harsh words, annoying words, all of that. Never hear negative words. Except it will be said salam and salama. Every word or sentence that people say is accompanied with a gesture of peace, peace. So whatever you say, you can talk anything you want, but every speech that is said in Jannah, you receive the feeling of peace from it. Doesn't mean that people don't know any other word but salam in Jannah. No, it means that every sentence, every word, every look, every touch, everything is accompanied with a gesture of salam. You can feel it. So that spouse you have in this world who has struggled and you may not have a pleasant life with him or her. In Jannah, if they are righteous, that's the condition, they'll be a totally different form. Imagine the righteous people of this world who enter Jannah, and imagine this as Zubayr, one of the 10 promised Jannah. He will be among the most beautiful, handsomest, beyond your dream, eat your heart out men in Jannah. And his wife, Asma, who was patient, she will be among the eat your heart out women in Jannah. So imagine the righteous women of this world and the righteous men. No matter how you may look, no matter how your character is, in Jannah you'll be of the perfect form. Yeah, and I will say this, maybe if I can say it this way. There was this story of this man who was married to this woman for 60 years. Finally she died, and she gave him misery in this life. When she died a Muslimah. At their grave, the Shaykh said, "Oh Allah, unite her with her husband in Jannah." The husband looks at him and says to him, "Please, Ya Shaykh, 60 years of my life in misery, you want me to live for eternity in misery?" Now, if that old man knew, if he knew that his wife is going to enter Jannah, and he went to Jannah and he saw her there, the first one he will desire is her. So this person you see in this world, when you go to Jannah, you say, "Who is that? Who is that?" And they say to you, "This was your spouse in the world." And you say, "I can't believe it." No. My spouse in that world was, he used to stink. He used to look like this. If he spoke, he didn't say pleasant words. He forgot to buy me gifts. He forgot, about this, and never complimented me. In Jannah, he's complimenting me, smiling to me. Oh my God, I want to live with him forever. It can't be my spouse that I had in that world. But he is. And so, my dear sisters and brothers, don't think of the mind of this world. A woman came to the Prophet ﷺ, an old woman, and said, "Ya Rasulullah, will I enter Jannah?" He looked at her and wanted to be humorous with her. He said to her, "No old women will go to Jannah." So she got a little bit hurt there. What's this? And when the Prophet ﷺ noticed it, he said to her, "You will enter young," meaning when you enter Jannah, you will no longer be in old age. And so it brought a smile to her face. In Jannah, the people are at the age of about 30, 33 years old. Prime age. In this world, you may look at 30, 33, they may have a few white hairs, right? You want an 18, 19-year-old maybe, a 25-year-old. In Jannah, a 33-year-old is far more handsomer than a 25 of this world. 33 is the middle age, is the age of Isa alayhi salam. Rasulullah said the height of our father Adam alayhi salam, 60 cubits or arm lengths tall in the sky, 20 cubits wide approximately, on the shape of Adam alayhi salam, our father. And obviously people have different nur to other people in Jannah. Some of them are more handsome, some are more beautiful than others. But no one will be jealous of the beauty of anyone else. A woman wouldn't sit there and say, "Oh, look at her, she thinks she is. She thinks she's prettier than me. I'll just go back to my servants back in my palace and you watch what they'll make of me. Or you watch when I go and get my clothing of silk and we'll see what she thinks. She can eat her heart out." No, there's none of that stuff in Jannah. There's no jealousy. She'll say, "Well, she's so pretty, but I'm also pretty too." Right? Husband comes back and she says to him, "You look more beautiful than when I first met you before." He says, "Yeah, I was in the market." He met other people, and so the nur came onto him a little bit. And he says to her, "You look more prettier than I saw you before too." And she says, "Yeah, well, I guess I am." And this is how it is in Jannah. I'll end it with this. The spouses say to each other in Jannah, the husband says to his wife, he initiates the saying, he will say to her when he first meets her, "Everything that I have seen so far in Jannah, there is nothing that I have seen that delighted my heart and delighted my eyes more than you, more than what I have seen in you, my wife." And she says to him the same thing. And guess what? She begins to sing for you. And the things they sing for you is, "We are the ones who will live for eternity and we will never die." How's that? So they'll sing for you far more better than my voice, beyond your imagination. Will you sing for them? If you wish, you may.